the sound of the local church bells. So welcome to our short evening time bedtime practices. And this evening I want to show you a restorative pose, and I'll be going through a particular mudra and I'll be talking through with you. So here we are at the end of the day, and maybe you haven't managed to really come into your body yet today. Maybe you've been working really hard outside, maybe you've been able to exercise, maybe you've been confined and you've been inside and been very kind of with your thoughts. So here are practices for us to just come back quietly to ourselves. And I'd like to start, as I do with a morning practice actually, just with a little bit of rebounding, a bit of shaking. It's a very simple way to let go of the daily tension and whatever you've been holding mentally, physically, emotionally through the day. When I do this, make sure my feet are really planted on the earth, toes spread, and I feel as I shake down, my roots just start to deepen and grow. So I feel my attention going into the earth, not on top of the earth. Yes, there's the weight, where the weight is on the floor, but I'm going into the earth. And I let my jaw be soft and the floor of my jaw drop away from the roof of my mouth. And that very act of releasing the jaw helps to release the pelvis, which helps to drop the root, the spine, the tailbone, and that all adds to that sense of grounding and moving downward and letting go. And we all need just a bit more letting go of what we don't understand, letting go of being in control of our situations, letting go of apprehensions of what might be to come, letting go of our past realities. Shake out the brain, letting go of shouting at your children, letting go of whatever it is. So it's an organic thing. You shake away in any way that you feel good. And here's one, I'm just feeling it. So from energy medicine, let's gather up. This is a great one for cleaning and clearing out. If you're feeling if you feel that the energy is quite pent up and held, we're going to gather in whatever it is that we don't want anymore. And we breathe in as we close our hands. And then as we breathe out, my knees are bent, make a big shushing sound. My fingers are pointing down, down, down into the earth. So it might be a thought, it might be an emotion, it might just be a sense of, I just want to clear out. Last time we do it nice and slowly. Full breath in. Slow-mo. When we come up, we're going to clear that space around us with a lovely infinity symbol, figure of 8, so we can just have a feeling of we've shaken it up, we've shushed it out, and now we're smoothing through the energy field, smoothing through the energy body. So from here I'm going to sit. You can sit on the floor. Before we come to sit, let's make sure when we do our line practice, you're going to want, if you want a blanket over you, it's cool, and you're going to want a folded blanket, possibly a bit thicker than this. Maybe that thick, but ideally that long, that wide. So pause the video, go and get what you need, and come back. Or the other thing that you might want is you can have 2 cushions. I've got 2 foam blocks for hands. So we're going to be lying on the back with the legs up against, you can do it against the sofa, in which case your legs would be, this is your spine. Here we go. Your legs are up, and then your lower leg is like that on the sofa, or would be legs up against the wall. Very often not, it's not at right angles, it's slightly more open in angle. And this is the great rejuvenator. It's a wonderful way to balance the nervous system. It'll either help to bring the energy down and quieten, or if you're feeling very exhausted, it helps to replenish you. So I want to alter the screen so that you can see the joy. This is it. I feel like not everyone has a beautiful open space to practice their yoga, so I'm really with you on this, guys. Having a small space to be on my own without fear of being jumped on or talked to. So before we do that, I'd like to just a little practice to move us into our hands and feet, and it's a lovely way we can do to wake up in the morning, and it's also a nice way to bring ourselves very simply. And we're going to move around. Maybe you've been typing a lot, maybe you've been gardening, maybe you haven't really thought about your hands, and in that way we can just move the hands through. I'm sitting, but I'm making sure my feet are underneath my knees. My spine is nice and free and comfortable. So then it means my wings are a little bit freer. So I'm imagining that my fingers are moving through fluid. I'm kind of chest height in warm water, and so there's a fluid quality to my movement. And you can do this lying down. So if you're feeling I'm actually at that point horizontal, then do this lying down so that you're anchored through the back of your shoulder blade. I hope you can see me. You can still see me. So we can do that, those kind of really nice open movements. Lying down. Because maybe we're not quite ready to come to stillness yet. We're going to take the hands and just squeeze through into the webbing of the fingers. So stay lying. And we're squeezing off each finger. So we're helping to clear and clean out through all the joints. Joints are where energy gets stuck. You can spend longer on this, really going before you get some hand cream. You could do it after a bath. I'm going to do the same with the feet. So, articulating. This is nice to do lying down. Take one of my blocks. Stretching. This is a lovely way to articulate the ankles. Let the knees be soft, so the spine wants to feel relaxed. Breathe deep into the belly. Explore moving the ankles very purposefully, or the feet very purposefully in all directions, so that the ankle joint is not just a circling, it's a pronating and a supranating. It's a inward movement and an outward movement. Really flex the toes, open the toes, and then from here we can do the same thing with the feet. It's nice to come at the base of where the heel meets the instep. A little bit of massage on the feet. Sometimes when we don't really know what our body wants, if we pause and make contact through some simple touch or squeezing or brushing, then we start to tune in and make those connections with ourselves. And then from there you might feel, actually, yes, my body wants to move in this way. So it's a way to get into your own self-practice and put my fingers in between my toes, which is very satisfying. And feel as if you're breathing in through the sole of your foot. If you've got one of those rubber or foam things that you put between your toes to paint your nails, that's a great thing to put, just leave in there, and it'll open the webbing in your feet, and it'll really encourage energy to move in through the soles of the feet and out through the soles of the feet. So here is an opportunity just for a little bit of self massage. I'm doing a loose wrist and a little cup, a little soft fist on, not on the bone. There we go. Oh, notice the difference. Tuning into the different sensations. This one feels more, here I am, I'm alive. I'm alive. My neck's not comfortable with that big block, so usually I recommend a soft blanket anyway. So same thing with the other foot. Start at the where the heel meets the instep. You can give a little sink in there, and then move up towards, I'll show you again on this foot, move up towards the place where the instep meets the ball of the foot. It's like the solar plexus point, and this is where we open that space to draw energy up from the earth. So if we can massage it, if we can say hello, make contact, bring our awareness to that place. Hidden treasures all along the curve of the instep. That's where it mirrors the curve of our spine. Give yourself a spinal massage. Perhaps I'll do a little session on self-spinal massage. Keep coming back to your breath. So when we get out of lying on our backs, we roll onto the side. Roll onto the side. You can stay, well, you might want to come and sit up. So I'm going to show you the position that we're going to come into for our restorative. The position of the blanket wants to be here. I have to turn more. The light is fading. It wants to be here. It's not over the bottom, and it's not in the lumbar. The tailbone, so imagine this is the blanket, the tailbone comes just off the edge, and then that encourages this the navel is pointing directly toward the ceiling, and then there's a little bit of a extension in the spine where the shoulders then rest on the floor. So hopefully you'll be able to see this from here. So your wall, you need to go side on to the wall. That's really important. Come side on to the wall. My blocks are here for my hands, which might want to be down by my side, or they can be up above. And there's a bit of shuffling and shimmying to start with. So I'm going to show you, and then I'll come out because I actually don't have a wall here. That's the caravan window. So we'll come up, you roll, and then there's a bit of shimmying where you get your blanket just underneath. You've got your feet against the wall here. You have to push against the wall to get your blanket in the right place. So tailbone is just off the edge of the blanket. Navel, you know you're in the right place because your navel is shining parallel to the ceiling. If you're on a slope like that, if you're on a plane like that, all the blood is just going to rush to your head and it's going to feel uncomfortable. So your pelvis wants to be in that position, not in that position. And then you raise the legs up and rest them against my imaginary wall. So what to do with the arms? Actually, let's get the head and the neck comfortable. So chin releases in towards the base of the throat, back of the neck is long. Now I can have my hands, arms out to the side. Sometimes that feeling is pulling in the shoulders. So that's when I take my blocks or cushions or books and I put just underneath my wrists, and that feeds my arms back in and makes the shoulders feel really settled. And it's as if the breath and the energy and the circulation is flowing down through the soles of the feet, pooling into the pelvis, and then like a watercourse flowing and pooling around through the shoulders. Or I can take my arms up above. So take a moment to get comfortable. And we'll be here for about 5-10 minutes. You may want to, if you've got something, this is actually rather large, but you could take, if you have an eye bag, you could place that over your eyes. You could wrap, sometimes I just wrap a scarf around my eyes to quieten the eyes inside the eye sockets. And as we breathe out, there's an opportunity to give ourselves into the gravitational pull, into this natural force and flow that is moving through us. Feeling into the places where your structure meets the earth. Letting the weight of the eyes sink back and rest into their sockets. The weight of the brain just start to rest and sink and spread into the base of the skull, softening through into the jaw, into the sides of the throat, the front of the throat. The weight of your shoulder blades, your wings, just quietly moving down the back of the body and sinking away from your front into the earth. And then the flow continuing down through your arm bones to your elbows, the soft curve of your elbow and down through into the back of your hands as they meet the surface they're resting on. Maybe you can bring your attention to the soles of your feet. So feeling the heels connect with the wall, but the soles of the feet open to receive energy and to receive gravity passing through the soles and really pouring down through the tube of your leg, through the ankle bone, the ankle joints, through the calves, through the knee joints, soft relaxed knee joints. If you're too close to the wall and you feel the backs of your legs uncomfortable, then you need to shift your position so that you're not quite as 90 degrees. And eventually all that weight and that feeling of pooling and filling drops into the back of your pelvis. And your sacral bone, your foundation bone, can start to rest back into the softness of the blanket. The pelvis starts to drop away from the thigh bones. So the pelvis is moving down and down away from the thigh bones. The feet are elevated. Maybe a little bit of space can open in the hip joint. And then as the pelvis fills, so that flow starts to drop into the belly. Breathing into the belly. Breathing out. And letting the flow start to move into the back of the chest, around the side of the ribs. Again, pulling into the shoulders and flowing out down through the arms to the soft open palms. Can take your thumb and your first finger and just connect them together. The chin mudra, connecting individual consciousness with universal consciousness. Surrendering to this wave of breath. Allowing yourself to be breathed by the breath. To receive the deep rest that is yours. In this time of pausing and stopping and slowing down our daily rhythms. Obviously some of us are still committed to our work, and that will leave us in a very different place of needing rest and restoration. But for the majority of us, we're moving into a slower way of being, and we might start to feel quite tired, as if the body realizes quite how much rest is needed, as if the soul or the spirit is going, oh, I can just stop now, I'm not obliged to do anything or go anywhere or be anything. So as much as you feel comfortable surrendering into that state of that non-competitive space where it's okay just to be as you are in this moment in time, and to enjoy that. So for yourself, if you can imagine a flower or a petal around your heart center, around your solar plexus, and just breathing into it. You are that flower or that blossom, and let that in-breath just start to open and unfurl you into the space above you and around you and inside of you. How that feels to let yourself really become fully who you are in the moment, without the pressure from so much pressure from the outside world. That there's maybe some space to discover that part of yourself that is free from the gaze of the outside, from the gaze of work or social pressures, community pressures. Celebrating your sense of beingness just as you are. Now obviously you're very willing, you can stay in this as long as you like, but to keep the practice moving, we're going to start to come out now. So take whatever it is you have off your eyes, keep your eyes closed if you want to. Start to move through your fingers. Now I'll come back into the position as if I were, and I'll come out together. So I bring my hands back onto the front of my body. I take my feet down, so my feet are planted into the wall. I then let my soles of my feet come together so that the outside edges of my feet are resting against the wall, and I let the heels drop down as much as feels comfortable, and I'm really leaning into, and this is a great way of opening up through the root of the spine, through the space between the pubic bone and the coccyx, the root of the spine, the perineum, the root chakra, the chakra that's all about our survival, our connection with life. So let's breathe into that space. Enjoy that feeling of openness through the thighs. Then we can take the hands the outside of the knees and just bring the palms together. We're going to roll the body over onto one side. Now it's really important when we come out of restorative pose and we've been elevated, that we take the body onto one plane before we come to sit up. And we slowly come to sitting up. Now you will be sitting on the floor, no doubt. So to finish our practice this evening, I have this lovely book. I think it'll come out in mirror image. Mudra's Yoga in Your Hands. That's what the cover looks like. Mudra's Yoga in Your Hands. And it's great for when you don't have the energy or the space or the time to do a physical hatha practice. So this is Hapaya Mudra, a gesture for promising protection. And it's all about becoming free of fear. So it does, I might talk about this on another occasion, but it refers to fear as weaknesses from the Chinese 5-element theory of weaknesses in the different elements. So the mudra is right hand chest level with the palm facing out. Left hand can be on your left thigh or on your heart. So you might see this in a lot of religious, spiritual iconography. That's a very common gesture. And it talks about the sense of fear. Fear has infinitely many faces, but its cause is always a weakness in the system. Many people are weakened as a result of inner conflicts because of a certain lack of unity within themselves. These inner battles are then carried out in the outside world by attracting the appropriate battle partner. We must keep all of this in mind when we seek the refuge in this mudra. However, just doing the mudra does not solve the problem, since coming to terms with the negative patterns of the soul is a long process of transformation, together with the recommended visualization. But this mudra may help initially in frightening or fearful situations. So, obviously, there's a lot. We are living through a time where our fear patterns are going to be triggered by one thing or another. So, here is the affirmation. I believe in the good in this human being or in this situation, and the good will be revealed to me. I believe in the good in this human being or in this situation, and the good will be revealed to me. And this is the visualization for the mudra. Imagine a silver or golden funnel in your mind. And it's sitting above you. While inhaling, sacred light, courage, goodwill, confidence flows through the funnel into your head. From there, it flows on into your body. As you inhale, the sacred light, the courage, the goodwill, the confidence enters the funnel, enters the golden or silver funnel through the crown of the head, fills the head, continues down into the body, and we are filled with this light. While exhaling, the light flows back out through your right hand and directing it towards the respective person or situation that we must confront. And perhaps you would like to reach more than one person with it, so that might be whatever comes naturally. I believe in the good in this human being, in this situation. The good will be revealed to me. We inhale, the light comes down through the crown of the head, feet, or sitting bone, firmly rooted into the earth. Fills the body, fills the head, fills the body, and we exhale, the light comes out through the right palm, directed towards the situation that we are looking to meet. It uses the word confront, but I think it's a meeting. It's a softening into that meeting place. Three more breaths together. Take their palms down into your lap. Let's rub the hands together. You can make a heart-shaped figure of 8 around the face. You might feel inclined to make that around the body, the torso, and into the space all around us. You can finish your practice with the sound of the mantra Om together. Just let that vibration permeate through all of your cells. So the first Om can be for yourself. The second can be for this curious online virtual community that we are feeling into here. We're sharing together these practices of opening ourselves to the potency of our life force and of the sacredness around us. And the third Om you can send out into the community to whatever situation you feel is in need of most healing. Let's breathe in together. Palms together, connecting at the heart. Namaste.